Hello, everyone, and welcome to this pick a card reading where we are taking a look at certain wounds that, specifically like hidden wounds, things that maybe you're not necessarily currently aware of or actively looking at, and these wounds that are holding you back in some way. Um, and that this new moon in Aries is helping you to move past or shed or heal however it comes through for you. And so the stuff, obviously, in this reading can be a little bit heavy, a little bit difficult to hear, maybe for some. So only continue watching if this is something you really want to know, if you feel like you're ready for this, and definitely treat yourself with grace and love no matter what comes out. But I have 3 piles for you here today. And if you would like to know more about this new moon in Aries, or just a further description of this reading and what I wanted to accomplish with this, then go ahead and take a look at the description box. I just have a little bit of thing written there for extra information. But let's go ahead and get into this. We have 3 piles for you here today. I have this rabbit, little rabbit figurine, 3 of them playing around here for pile number 1. Pile number 2, making yet another appearance, is this pyramid. Lastly, pile number 3, I have this tortoise figurine. I'm going to give you a few moments now to pick and choose your pile. Feel free to pause if you need more time. All right, if you have chosen your pile, then feel free to head to the description box below where I have everything timestamped. As I said before, if you need more time, feel free to pause, but let's get into it. Hello, if you chose these 3 rabbits, then this is the pile for you. Let's go ahead and take a look at what hidden wound is holding you back. And I do want to preface this by saying only take what resonates here. We're going to be getting into a bit of some deep stuff, some heavy emotional stuff. So try not to make something fit if it doesn't. If you have to try really hard to find these sorts of feelings in you, then this pile is just not for you. But let's go ahead and get started. We have for your, let's take a look at what the wound is, okay? So we have envious gluttony with number 9. And then we have the 4 of Wands for the wound. We have for the Hierophant for basically like the root cause, where does this wound originate? And then lastly, how can you overcome this wound? We have the 9 of Cups in reverse. So I want to start off with this envious gluttony card up here with the 4 of Wands, pile 1. What I'm getting here is your wound. The thing that is holding you back right now is this feeling of, I will never have enough. I will never have enough. And I feel like for some of you, it may be hidden. You may not necessarily realize this all the time, but for a lot of you, I feel like you actually realize this may be something you fall into, but it's hard to get out of. You're having difficulty moving past it. With this envious gluttony card with the 4 of Wands, it's like you're having difficulty enjoying your life because maybe one, you feel like it's like going to all crumble down at some point. At some point, we're going to go from the 4 of Wands to the 5 of Wands, and you're going to have to fight for what you have, or it's going to be it's going to be taken away from you, and that's why you have this need or this urge to just keep pushing forward, keep getting more, rather than enjoying what you currently have in the present. because I feel like with the Hierophant in reverse, in the past, either during childhood or maybe in the recent past, young adult, whenever, you've had to struggle. You did not have the stability that you required growing up with the Hierophant in reverse. We have the number five going to the number four. It's like in the present moment, you're actually doing really well with this Four of Wands. It's like you're doing really well for yourself. You're giving yourself the life that you never had growing up or in the recent past. However, it doesn't feel like you are. You don't necessarily feel like you're doing well, or you feel like you're still getting there. You don't you don't necessarily have everything that you want right now. And I'm getting this sense of feeling like you're running out of time. Um but for the most part, for a lot of you, this is because you grew up in an unstable environment. Um that's one of the things, one of the reasons I'm getting. For others of you, I'm also getting that you grew up in an environment that was very controlling, that um, prohibited certain things, that made you, that was very controlling, basically. Okay. You didn't have a lot of freedom. And then, so now that you're older, now that you have a bit more freedom, it's like you want to experience everything that you didn't get to experience as a child. That's for some of you. Okay. For others of you, it may have been like a financial situation. Maybe your family struggled financially a lot, and so you never really got to have the things that you wanted, things that you desired as a child. No matter what specific situation it is, I feel like the energy is the same, in the sense that when you, like in the past, you did not get to experience everything you wanted, everything you desired. So now you are constantly reaching for that. However, it's almost to an excess, because you're not enjoying, it's like very short dopamine bursts of, oh yeah, I want this, so I'm going to get it. And then once you have it, it's like you kind of throw it to the side and push for that next thing. And so this is a message that this is actually holding you back, not being able to enjoy what you have before moving on to this next thing. And that leads me to this Nine of Cups in reverse, that you see a man that is sitting with his arms crossed, and you have all these cups surrounding him. However, and upright, it's kind of a card of like getting everything you desire and enjoying it and indulging in life. But I feel like in reverse, it's almost like he's emptied all these cups and he wants more, right? Or maybe he hasn't even emptied the cups. The cups are full and yet he still wants more. It's like an insatiable hunger, I feel like, that you have. And the most important thing here is to not fault yourself for that. I don't want you to feel ashamed of the way you feel. I don't want you to feel like there's something wrong with you for feeling that way. There's going to be always a cause, right? A cause for these wounds, even if you may not necessarily see it at that moment. There's the reason why I'm doing this reading is not for people to shame themselves because of this wounds. It's so you can identify it and overcome them and move past them and be free of them, essentially. Because when I ask this question, it's what wound is holding you back? And specifically, what wound is holding you back from achieving what you want? Okay, whatever it is you want. For instance, maybe you want to live a peaceful life, you want to live a stable life. However, you're not able to do that if you can't see your present moment, because you're just constantly looking for the future and what next, what you want next. So this is really a message to enjoy what you have right now, pile one. And I feel like that may not necessarily be what a lot of you want to hear, in the sense of it might be hard. It might be hard to restrain yourself from going after certain things at this moment, but I feel like it's going to give you a lot of clarity. It's going to allow you to see your life with a new set of eyes, one that is not envious of what you, or one that doesn't look at all the lack in your life, and one that looks at everything that you do have. Because I feel like at the end of the day, that's actually the most important message is that I feel like right now you're looking at your life with a lot of lack. You're looking at what everything you don't have at the moment, and that blinds you to everything that good that you do have. Um, with this Four of Wands, and that doesn't necessarily mean you can't go after those things in the future. It's creating this balance of enjoying what you have now, realizing how far you have come from this unstable hierophant situation. And this is something that affected you deeply, okay? It's something you've carried for a very long time. This is a major arcana that's coming out for the cause of your wound. This was something in your life that, one, lasted a very long time. It was a very long period of instability and or of overwhelming control over you, so that you couldn't go after what you wanted. That's one. The other, oh, what was I saying? I totally forgot what my point was. But yeah, overall, it's learning how to view your life with a mindset of abundance, essentially, because right now the way you're operating, it's like it doesn't matter how much you accomplish, how much things you acquire in your life, it's never going to feel enough. And that's because it's some emotional wound that you're carrying, and that's what is being uncovered this new moon. And last thing I want to say, pile one, is I feel like for a lot of you, this is something you're definitely aware of, but either you try to push it down, you try to ignore it, or you want to move past it, but you're not sure how. And we're going to get some more oracle cards to get some more advice from spirit guides, from spirit, on how you can overcome this, because I feel like it's really frustrating you on why you can't just enjoy what you have, and why, because it's like when we're always reaching for something we don't have, it's like we're constantly in that feeling, right? And then once we get it, it's like what you once wanted. The problem with what you want is that when you have it, it's what you once wanted, right? And then you want to go reach for the next thing. And this is a message from spirit to kind of slow it down. Really enjoy the most mundane things in your life ever. That's one of the ways that will help you overcome this. The smell of coffee in the morning, or tea, or breakfast, whatever you have, your food. This is enjoying the subtle things in your life that you may take for granted. Hot water, being thankful, showing gratitude for being able to have hot water, to be able to have a roof over your head, to be able to, even if it's just what you're eating, to be able to have food, to be able to enjoy the sun on your face. It's trying to find pleasure in those little moments, and that's how you're going to be able to find pleasure in the bigger moments as well, because right now I feel like it's hard for you to find pleasure in your life because you're so focused on what you don't have. And that may be hard for some of you to hear, but I feel like for you guys, it's like it's something that you already know. It's something that you already know that you struggle with. And so these are meant to confirm these things, and if this doesn't resonate with you, then it just doesn't resonate. Either you're not ready to hear this, or it's just this pile is just not for you. Maybe there's no messages for you today. But the one thing I say, if you're feeling any sort of like anger right now, or frustration, despair, it's not despair that I'm feeling. It's like a frustration, like, why am I like this feeling of like, why am I like this, why can't I just enjoy the things I have? I'm getting that really big, that feeling really strongly right now. And if you are feeling that way, then that's not necessarily a bad thing, okay? Because so many of us walk around and behave in certain ways, do certain things that we're not even know where the source of that behavior is coming from. And so that's one of the things I wanted to shed light on in this reading, is that source. Where is this coming from? What is holding you back right now? And right now, for you, it is this envious gluttony. This card kind of puts it in a very like dark way, I guess. A very dramatic way. But for you specifically, pile one, I just see like finding a lot of lack in your life. This is the wound that is currently being uncovered, is this feeling of lack that you constantly walk around with. This feeling of I want that, and I need that. I need that. Maybe even things that you don't need. You're like, I need that to fulfill some sort of hole in me, to fill some hole in me. Um so yeah, but I feel like now I'm kind of rambling, so I want to get some more cards here. Let's get some deeper insight on this wound, and then some advice on how you can overcome this. I feel like I've already given some more, but let's see what else Spirit wants to say. All right. Let's get some more information on this wound and how we can overcome it. Pile one. Okay, we have the 12th house with introspection. That came out quite fast. And then we had Saturn underneath it. Interesting. Now it's quite what am I going to say? Like on the nose that the 12th house came out, in the sense that the 12th house can deal with things hidden beneath the surface, things we may not necessarily be aware of. Be aware of. I'm also noticing the chakras here, because you see we have like looks like we have the root chakra, the sacral, and so on. And so I feel like really working specifically with your root chakra as well may help this, because the root chakra is very much associated with our stability, with our foundation. And when it's out of balance, it can lead to us feeling unstable, unsafe. So root chakra work may really help you. Maybe certain somatic exercises to work with the root chakra, even just wearing the color red, surrounding yourself with the color red, researching, delving more into what the root chakra represents may all be very helpful for you during this time in overcoming this sort of sense of lack that you feel in your life. Because I feel like with the 4 of Wands and the 9 of Cups in reverse, it's like it's not that you currently are experiencing that. You may have experienced that in the past, and now it's like you can't get past that feeling of this other shoe is going to drop and it's just going to be taken from me immediately, and I'm going to have to go back to this place where I didn't have the freedom that I do now. It's like you're and freedom in I feel like for a lot of you this is like a financial thing, right? Because a lot of the time money is in this world, it's like money is freedom. The more money you have, the more free you may feel. For some of us may not necessarily feel that when you, but for a lot of us, it's like money allows you to do things that um, do whatever you want, essentially, right? However, we don't have any pentacle cards here. And I feel that's because this is a feeling. This is not your present situation of I don't have enough money. This is you feeling like you don't have enough. It doesn't have to be money. It could be anything. And the last thing I want to say with this 12th house here, as well as the 9 of Cups in reverse, you can see he's kind of like sitting alone by himself, versus in the 4 of Wands, it's 2 figures, right? It's kind of like a community with the 4 of Wands. And I feel like maybe one of the things that you feel a lack of is a community, is connection. That could be one thing. If it's not finances, it could be connection. And with the 12th house can definitely be a very isolating and lonely place, feeling like nobody can really relate to you, or that your struggles are your own and nobody will ever be able to understand them. That's kind of like one of the ways like the 12th house can manifest in that sense, is that sense of deep-seated loneliness. And I feel like this is a reminder, along with what I was talking about here with the root chakra, of realizing that you're going to always be personally, because I believe in that, you're always connected to the divine, right? To source. It could also just be connecting back to the earth, connecting back to the earth, to where you come from. And we have here introspection. It's like this card is all about introspection, going within, especially if you're facing some sort of complicated problem right now, finding everything beneath the surface, why this is happening. And I feel like this feeling that you have, and it comes from some sort of past where, as I was saying with the Hierophant before, right? For instance, if you are currently feeling a lack of community, that is because with the Hierophant, it's like in the past, the communities that you were a part of, maybe your family or your neighborhood, the ones that you were born into, they may not have been the best place for you. They may have been overly controlling, or maybe they just weren't in a position to be able to provide the best life for you. And that's, that's in the past. That's not something that is going to change in the past, right? Because that's already happened. We can't really change the past. But what we can do is change how the past affects us, right? How we look at our past, how we feel about our past, how we handle it. And I feel like that's a big theme for you coming up. This new moon, as well as this new moon, could be happening in your 12th house. So if your 12th house is ruled by Aries, which then where this new moon is happening, then that is just a confirmation that this is your pile one. But let's get another message here. Look at that. We have luck is on your side. New moon in Sagittarius. For sure. That's what makes me see like that your wound is a perception type thing. It's like you feel a certain way, but is that really the present situation? Is that really what's happening? And that's why it's important for you currently to focus on living in the present rather than on the future and on what you want and what you don't have, because you can always get there. You can always, write a list of everything you want and you will get them, right? You can work towards getting them, but it's all about how you feel, right? Are you just writing these things down because you didn't have them in the past and now you feel like it's going to make you feel better? Because if you feel like these things or whatever you're going for is going to make you feel better, I don't think it's going to. Okay, I feel like it's like maybe it will for a little bit, but then you're going to go right back to the start, right back to feeling like you don't have enough. And that's why it's important to shift this perspective, because right now you do have enough, and in the future you will have enough. And because luck is on your side, okay? The universe is always providing for you. And I know that this is like, it's not something that's going to happen overnight. You're not going to be able to heal this wound overnight, especially if it's like some long-term thing that happened in your childhood. Okay, it might be quite difficult for that. And look, actually what we had underneath the deck is a time to give rather than take. New moon in Virgo, and that just reminds me of this, just like sitting in the present and not necessarily sitting in the present, enjoying what you have, and if you feel called to, sharing what you have with others. But that's not necessarily like that's just like a separate message there, right? If that's something you resonate with, that's only some of you may resonate with that. But like at the end of the day, with luck is on your side, it's like you have nothing to worry about. This is a lot of this is really a feeling. It's I don't want to invalidate it by saying it's all in your head, because it's not necessarily in your head as in, you're feeling this and there's no reason why. There's a reason why you're feeling this way. And that's why you're being asked to do a bit of introspection, to try to find where in your childhood you felt like you didn't have enough, or that you were restricted and you couldn't go after what you want, because that's where this wound is stemming from. And if you identify that, it's going to be easier to move past it, to overcome. But let's get one of these archetype cards for you. Let's just see what comes out. What additional messages we have here. We have Networker. Light attributes enhances unity through the sharing of information, engenders social awareness and empathy, and with the sharing, another message of sharing. And then we have with the shadow attributes, conveys information only for personal gain, spreads fear and falsehood. I'm going to put that right here. We have two purple here, which is very interesting. On the bottom of the deck, we had servant. Light attribute, delight in serving others with a free and loving heart. This is another message of giving, right? So this is definitely a time, as the new moon in Virgo card said, to give rather than take. And that's also going to help you feel, I feel like it's going to open your eyes to how much you actually have compared, I don't want to say compared to others, because we don't really want to compare, right? especially knowing, I feel like your childhood may not have been, or your recent past may not have been the smoothest, right? So I don't want to say compared to others, but it's just gonna give you a different perspective. I'll say that. We have here shadow attribute, then using the lack of money as an excuse not to move forward with life. Interesting. I'm just gonna keep this card out, actually. I'll let you look at that. And the one thing I want to say about this networker card is that it may be helpful for you to, as I was saying before with this servant as well, like, not, maybe you don't necessarily have to give something physical to other people, but just sharing space with them, especially with this networker, diverse groups of people, right? A networker is somebody that connects multiple different groups of people. For me personally, how I'm seeing this card. And with Chiron, the wounded, Chiron, which is the reason why I'm doing this video, because the new moon is happening right near 1 degree away from Chiron. Chiron is like this wounded healer type where he suffers a lot of wounds and he heals them himself. He's the one that does the work to heal them. And in doing so, it allows him to see those same wounds in others and help those people heal them, because they might not, because he's already done the work, right? And so I feel like with you, this may be this is a similar message when it comes to this networker card, where maybe you want to reach out to people that you know have had similar situations, and how they're doing. It's also a card of just connecting with other people. I feel like at the end of the day, you're being asked to connect with other people, especially if you've been feeling a bit lonely, a bit isolated, a bit disconnected. I feel like it's going to give you you're going to learn a lot of things, not only about yourself, but about your perspective. I feel like you're on the verge of a very big perspective shift, especially with Sagittarius coming out as well. And then the 12th house with introspection. Definitely a very big perspective shift. And what's really going to help you is connecting with other people. And if that's not possible for you, because I can say that, but not everybody's going to be able to have the environment to safely do that. And if that's the case, then connecting with yourself, connecting with source, connecting with something outside of yourself, giving to a charity if you're able to, things like that. Connecting, feeling like you're making a difference, connecting with something outside of yourself is definitely going to be very helpful. I'm getting that specific message. For instance, say you grew up growing up, you had to move around a lot. Maybe you and your family were homeless at point. You had to live in a shelter for a bit, stay at a shelter for a couple nights. This is like kind of, then now that you're in a more stable place, you're successful, you've moved on past this. This is like donating to a shelter similar to the one you stayed at, or the one you stayed at, and then realizing like, wow, look how far I've come. Look how far I've come from where I was at. And I feel like that's really going to help you shift your perspective on this feeling that you have, that you don't have enough. I hope that makes sense. Because that's kind of the vibe I'm getting. Like, taking a step back, taking a second to sit and see everything that you've acquired, everything that you've done compared to where you started from, I feel like is going to really help you. And the ways that I mentioned before are just like examples of what you can do, right? This is going to vary depending on who you are and how that's going to best work for you. We have the Exile. Forsaken Soldier, strategy, failure, trauma. Yeah, I feel like I've gotten so many messages, subtle messages with these cards, of like a feeling of loneliness. Underneath that we had Dawn, the Red Shepherd, just reward, evaluation, respite. But yeah, like this feeling of loneliness. Maybe you feel like others don't know how hard you had to work to be where you're at, or others just feeling disconnected by others, feeling misunderstood by others, and like you've had to do this all on your own. Yeah, I feel like I'm definitely getting like this sense of loneliness. And I guess that's why I was getting this message to connect with something outside of yourself. Even if that's just, your God, the universe, the earth. Yeah. Because you know what, like the exile, it's like the exiles are people who feel like they don't fit in with society, right? But then they're also actually probably more to the definition of people that society have pushed away because they don't fit in. And maybe that's how you're feeling right now. And so like it's like you're looking on the outside in of something like, man, I wish I had that. I wish I had this family and this community. And then this is a message like, you can have that. If you can't find it, then build it. You can build it yourself, right? And especially with this new moon in Sagittarius, luck is on your side. And with the networker coming out, right? The networker coming out saying network with other people, other things, and that's definitely going to help you feel like step away from this loneliness as well. And specifically, I'm getting the message of if you can't find it, create it, right? And share what you've gone through. Share this wound with others, and that's how you're going to find people who are on your same wavelength, people who understand you. Because I feel like right now it's like I said before, it's like you guys are aware that you do this, but you're not sure how to move past it. And I feel like one of the ways to move past it is definitely to share it with people who have gone through similar things. As I said, that's not necessarily gonna be realistic for all of you, and so just take it how it resonates. Some of you may not want to do that, and if that's the case, then that's okay, because we all heal in our own way. We all overcome things in our own way. So this is really going to be all about you coming to your own conclusions and your own solution with the 12th house coming out, rather than anything I could say. And then lastly, pile one, I am going to pull a card from this. These are actually two combined decks, but I absolutely love the messages in each and every one of these cards, and I'm going to read them out of the book for you. So let's go ahead and see what last bit of advice Spirit, the universe has for you in regards to this wound that you are currently uncovering, you're currently working through, that is very prominent in your life right now. Let's see what Spirit has to say. Basically, just like a comforting message for you, because something like this is definitely not easy to deal with. It's not something that's going to be healed overnight, and it's something that's going to take really dedicated work to shift this mindset, this perspective, and overcome this wound. Whoa. Wow. Look at this. This one fell on the floor. The Great Gathering. It's all coming together. Intuitive hits. Soul Tribe. Yes. Wow. Okay. Underneath that, we had Anna, Grandmother of Jesus. You're Not Alone. Breath of the Cosmos. For sure. Wow. Okay. I'm going to read this from the book. And but before that, I just want to say, like, look, the Great Gathering. It's like if you've been feeling, it's basically what I've been saying before with Networker. It's like I feel like, I don't know, there's something here about connecting with other people. Connecting with other people. Let me see what card this is. Okay, this is one of the rose ones. So Yeah, let's go to the Great Gathering. Okay, here we have the Great Gathering. It's all coming together. Intuitive hits, Soul Tribe. You are being called to let your intuition move you physically. You are connected to a group of souls who are weaving a web around the planet, and as you travel and share your creations, something is rethreaded. This card is an acknowledgement that you are either being called to connect with others who are like you at a soul level or that you already are. You are being called to gather groups of people, either by leading them or becoming part of a group mission that can support you and your soul's mission. Okay. You are part of a group of souls who agreed to be here at this time in history to heal yourself, your ancestral line, and the planet, to raise consciousness so that we can continue to call this magnificent place home for eras to come. One of many consciously choosing to devote your life to something greater than yourself. Isn't that what I was saying about connecting to something greater than yourself, something outside of yourself? And yeah, so definitely. And then we have It's Time to Call in Your Tribe by sharing your soul's voice and letting yourself be seen. And I think specifically, I feel like with this coming out in like a wound type reading, letting yourself be seen, letting your wounds be seen, being vulnerable, only if you feel comfortable doing so, of course, but being vulnerable, because that's one of the ways you're going to be able to call sort of like, your soul tribe or these people, your community in. Because I feel like growing up, you may not have felt very connected to the people around you, to the things around you. And so that may be what you feel like you lack. So definitely a big message there. So we have, when you share what is real and true to you, and you share the medicine that you most need, those who are like you will gather around you. You are your tribe. They are just like you. And just as you are longing and searching for them, they are longing and searching for you too. And if you want to do this activation, I'm going to put it up here. And you can do that. But thank you so much for letting me read for you today, Pile 1. I hope these messages helped you in some way. I know that we got into a bit of some deep shadow type stuff. That's why it's really important for you to use your intuition during these readings. But that being said, thank you, Spirit, for these messages. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Hello, if you chose the pyramid, then this is your pile. So pile 2, let's go ahead and take a look at what wound is currently being uncovered by this new moon, what wound is holding you back, what wound is asking to be revealed and healed, essentially. So let's take a look. So we have here 20, Downcast Pride. For your tarot, we have the Sun in reverse, the Knight of Pentacles in reverse, and then the Nine of Swords in reverse. Whoa, that's interesting because we have 9, 9, and then this is 19, and then we have 20. So, and nines, I guess I'll just start with the number 9. 9 is basically nearly the end, but not necessarily the end. You still have 10 after that, right? When it comes to the pip cards in the minor arcana. And then with the Sun, it's like the Sun is not the last card, the world is. So we have 19 and then 2 cards after that, and then we cycle back to the Fool with the major arcana, right? So it's like you're nearing the end of a cycle, the end of something that has held you back for a very long time, and that is this downcast pride. So first thing I'm noticing after the nines, so I guess the second thing I'm noticing is the fact that all your tarot cards are in reverse. That means to me in this instant that there has been some internal blockage that has prevented you from moving forward. This is something that is internal. It's an internal obstacle rather than something that is external, that is from your environment. This is coming from within you. And with this downcast pride and the sun in reverse, I feel like it is a feeling of belief in yourself, a feeling of confidence in yourself. With the sun in reverse, with the sun being, first of all, this is a new moon reading at the core, right? I planned this meeting based off of this new moon in Aries that's happening this Thursday and Friday of this week. So while this is a timeless reading, if you're watching this near when I am posting it, then that is kind of like the origin of this reading, is that new moon. And when a new moon occurs, it's when the sun and the moon are close enough together that the moon becomes dark. And I feel like with this sun in reverse, it's like you have this power within you, you have this divine spark within you, this divine source within you, but you can't see it. You can't see it because you are placing a lot of your focus on past failures, past things that didn't work out. It could be past things that didn't work out, and or the the what's the word I'm looking for? The chance for something not to work out. The chance for something not to work out. And for people, I don't know why I just heard in my head like that people will laugh at you for that. That people will be like, oh, well, there you go again. You know, of course you would fail. So maybe there are like certain people around you that are um like I don't want to say confirming. I'm having such trouble coming up with words for your pile, but the word affirming, maybe it's affirming that I'm looking for. I don't think that's exact, but like affirming what you already believe in yourself, and what you currently believe in yourself is that you can't do anything, that you will fail at anything you do. That is what I'm getting here for you, pile two, and your current wound that you are overcoming, okay? This is a wound that is holding you back, and that means it is time for you to overcome this wound, for you to sit and remember and try to pinpoint where this started. And this could have started from when you were a child. Maybe you had a lot of people in your family or just around you, maybe teachers, kind of like put you down, criticize you, make it even if it was subtly, it may not have been as dramatic and blunt. It could have been like a subtle thing where they just felt like you weren't as good as everybody around you, or you couldn't accomplish what you wanted to. Maybe they laughed at your dreams, at your goals, and this kind of made you feel like have a little bit of self conscious. It could even be that you tried, you pursued after something, and it didn't end up working out, and so now you don't want to go after anything else because it's like, you know, I why should I if I just am going to fail in the end, right? So I feel like this is a big message that the current wound that is being uncovered right now, that is holding you back, is this lack of self confidence. And it's not like it's coming out of nowhere. This is not something that you were born with. This is something that people and your environment and your circumstances, like, you absorb. This is you absorb this belief from those things, and you internalized it. So now it's like your only belief is that you cannot succeed. At the end of the day, that's the thing. It's like a belief that you cannot succeed. And of course, without even tarot cards to tell me, to give me a message, like, I know that's not true, okay? Because at the end of the day, what is for you is what is for you. What you resonate with, you are going to attract. You are going to eventually reach that destination. So there's no one in this world that is inherently a failure. You are not born a failure. And I feel like that's something that's really important for you to hear now. Because we have this 9 of Swords here. This 9 of Swords is in the position in this spread of um how you can overcome this fear and how you can heal it. So the Nine of Swords in reverse is very interesting to be coming out in this position, because it's like, in order for you to heal this, you must first acknowledge it within yourself. This fear, it could even be like a fear of failure. Maybe you do believe in yourself, but you still have this fear that you're going to fail, especially if you've told people about what you're pursuing, what you're currently trying to go after, what you currently desire, right? If you've told people this, it's like now you have that expectation upon you and it's kind of burdening you, maybe. And you're like, now I really have to go after this. And like, what are people going to say if I end up changing my mind? Or what are people going to say if I end up doing something else or if I fail, right? And I feel like people's expectations are weighing really heavily on you right now. And that's like another message of where this wound is coming from. Maybe like a fear of failing in front of other people with the sun. It's like your a fear of your weaknesses, your failures coming to light, being illuminated, and other people knowing about them and putting you down because about them. So there's a couple things here. So really take what resonates. But at the end of the day, there's definitely this wound surrounding your accomplishments, the way people view you and your accomplishments, your purpose, where you're going. And with the Nine of Swords in reverse coming out as your the way to overcome this, it's like a message of allowing you to feel that feeling. I feel like for some of you, you may have been suppressing this feeling like, no, I'm gonna get this done. I'm gonna be able to do this. And then in the back of your mind, you still have this fear of like, what happens if it doesn't work out? What am I gonna do then? Am I gonna be seen as a failure? And it's kind of like allowing that to come through, because those hits, those pings, those messages are there for a reason. And if you have been suppressing them, if you have been trying to ignore them, that doesn't necessarily mean they're going away. And so with this Ten of Swords coming out, it's kind of like actually allowing those thoughts to come through, and do it in a safe place, a place where you feel safe, a place where you feel comfortable, because these are going to be heavy emotions that are coming through. These are going to be very like, I feel like mean, nasty thoughts that are coming through. And you're and as you do this, you're going to be able to see what words are your own, what words are coming from within you, and what words you are coming from other people in your past, in your life, that have said those things to you, or that you fear think those things of you. And it's experiencing them in a very non-judgmental way. So if you say something nasty to yourself in your head, it's not saying, it's you're being asked not to immediately push it down, but to recognize it and be like, huh, that's interesting, that that would come out, and kind of following this like trail or this rabbit hole to where that thought originated from. um I feel like will help you a lot with turning the sun card upright, right? I feel like the sun card, and I'm getting another message here actually. Yeah, I feel like with the sun card, like the sun card is it's like a wonderful card in tarot. Okay, upright. This card is amazing. Very wonderful energy, very joyous energy, just freedom, relief. It's like you come out of this moon phase. Okay, the moon card. The moon card is all about confusion and fears and um, shadows, not knowing where to go next, and then you come out victorious in the sun card. You finally see the light. And I feel like for you in reverse, it's like you're almost there. You're almost to that point. There's just a couple things that need to be taken a look at before you can get there. But I feel like your feet, you are definitely feeling a bit of this feeling a little bit, but then it's like tinged with these um very like judgmental and down putting thoughts that you may experience. So definitely important for you to try to take some time to recognize where these thoughts are coming from. And if they're even coming from your own psyche, maybe they're coming from other people that have said those to you in the past. And it's like you're afraid, like, am I going to be proving those people right? But let's get some more cards here. Let's get some more details on this wound and how you can overcome it, and what guidance and messages the universe, spirit has for you in regards to this. You know what, actually, I'm actually going to do things a bit differently for your pile. And I am feeling called to actually get a card from this deck first. For my pile twos, let's get a few more details on this wound, where it comes from. We have Aries Stellium. I don't think I'm pronouncing that right, but it's okay. Queen of Shadows, Wrath, Instability, Suspicion. Queen of Shadows. Underneath that, we had Danu, Mother of Creation. Motherhood, Ferocity, Creation. So interesting that these two are coming out, because I feel like they're kind of like polar opposites, but at the same time the same, right? Because creation comes out of shadows. Creation comes from the darkness into the light, how the moon comes from how the moon card goes into the sun card in the major arcana, right? So I feel like you know what I'm getting? One of the best ways you can help, you can, I don't want to say overcome, because this is not a battle. You don't want to battle these emotions or these feelings, this wound. You don't want to shun it. You want to integrate it. You want to heal it. And I feel like one of the best ways you can do that is by, first, in order to heal the wound, you must acknowledge it. And so acknowledging that these thoughts exist, that these feelings exist within you, first. Secondly, I feel like one of the best ways with this Mother of Creation coming out is channeling it into something, into a project. Maybe even channeling it into, if you're doing something creative, like for instance, maybe you're trying to start a sort of creative business, channeling that pain into your creations so that other people can see it and relate to it as well. Um, that's for some of you. That's one way you can do that. But just in general, with this Queen of Shadows coming out, it's like saying, really going within. Okay, Queen of Shadows is it's like with the Nine of Swords, it's not hiding from the darkness. It's facing it head on, and knowing that you are supported in that, and that you are going to come out of it as this sun upright. Because I feel like you've kind of been ignoring these certain thoughts and feelings that come up whenever you think about I don't know, I'm, for instance, for you guys specifically, I'm getting like a goal or a manifestation that you really want, and it's like a big one. It's like something that it could be like a certain career thing, a certain business, maybe it's like a partner, something big in your life that is not necessarily coming to full fruition because of these feelings. So if that's the case, this is definitely a message to recognize them, especially if you've been ignoring them. Recognize them for what they are, recognizing them for what they are. Let's get another card here. And with this suspicion, it's like, be suspicious of certain thoughts that are coming up, because they may not necessarily be your own. And if they are your own, then it's like, where did this thought come from? We have here transits, the climate. This person on this figure holding like the circle, within him, and with his head down, kind of reminds me of this Nine of Swords as well, with their head down, versus this son that's kind of like, he's like a child. He's facing things full on, um, rather than maybe trying to hide from them. I feel like right now you're at a very important point that you're really being asked to face certain fears and wounds head on, to look at them directly. Do not shy away from them with this Queen of Shadows. The Queen of Shadows does not shy away from darkness because she is darkness. Um, and I feel like, especially if you're somebody who works in the creative field, that this time is going to really, really help you moving forward. Um, I don't know why I'm getting that big message there. And if you have access to your no, if you have access to your birth chart with transits, this new moon may be happening in a um, in a house where you have a lot of planets in your birth chart. Like, it may be activating certain planets in your birth chart if it's happening in the same area as it. So I would take a look at that and also see which house this new moon is occurring in, because that's going to help give you more information on what is being revealed here, what wounds, where these wounds are being revealed specifically. And lastly, with the transits card, I want to just say that with transits and then the sun and the Nine of Swords and just everything we've talked about, if some of these people are putting you down or trying to dismantle your dreams, trying to step on your dreams, then this is a message that you cannot control what those other people think. You cannot control what they say to you, but you can control how you react. You can control what words affect you and what do not. And you are powerful enough. You are worthy enough. You are good enough. You are skilled enough to succeed despite these things around you or these thoughts within you trying to convince you that you're a failure. You can succeed, you can overcome them, and you can prove them wrong. Okay, the greatest revenge is going to be you proving them wrong, you being successful. So I feel like this is a message to try not to take to these I feel like, I don't know why I'm getting like, it's like exterior opinions on what you're currently doing. You do not need to take these to heart. And so it's important for you to recognize what is coming from yourself and what is not. And like, I don't know, I'm getting this feeling of like, maybe this is going to be like the future feeling with transits coming out. It's like, in the future, as long as you're putting in the work, right? The future is always changing. But what I'm getting is that you are going to be able to prove these people wrong. You are going to be able to look these people in the eye and say, I did it. I did it. And they're going to feel like almost bad about it. I mean, we don't want to be making people feel bad, but like sometimes some people deserve it, right? So some people deserve to eat their words, essentially, right? So I feel like you're gonna make certain people eat their words for sure in the future, as long as you recognize your power, Actually, let me get this card. Let's get a message from the moon here for you, pile. Okay, we have here full moon in Pisces, balance spirituality and practicality. Interesting. And then underneath the deck, look at this, we had South Node. Don't let your past hold you back. I think that's big. Don't let your past hold you back. Don't let people's past opinions, thoughts, words, and even your own, maybe even past failures, don't let those hold you back. For sure. I'm actually going to keep this out. And then let me just rearrange this a little bit. Do it like this, and then I am going to put this here. But yeah. Oh, look, underneath that we had North Node. Step out of your comfort zone. Interesting. So yeah, if you've been kind of fearful of stepping out of your comfort zone, doing something a little risky, taking certain risks because you're afraid it's not going to work out, this is a message to go for it, right? Because even if something doesn't work out, this is going to be a lesson. You may be trying something that you did in the past but failed at, and now you're trying again, but then all these things from the past are holding you back, right? There's many different ways this can show up, but at the end of the day, this wound is a lack of confidence, a lack of belief, and it may not be apparent. You may act and have thoughts like, I can do this and believe in yourself, but then there's just this little niggling in the back of the mind, like, what if? What if it doesn't work out? What if I have to, go home with my tail between my legs with this Knight of Pentacles, like with nothing to show for it? And so, like, I feel like that's like certain fears and thoughts coming up that make you doubt yourself and your path. And these are coming from certain places. These are not just appearing out of nowhere, they're coming from a place within you. And so you're being asked with this Nine of Pentacles. So I don't know why I said Nine of Pentacles, I meant Nine of Swords, to find that place within you, to find where they come from, so that you can cleanse them for good. I'm hearing. And then with this balance, spirituality and practicality, maybe that's just a message here to that you need to be doing that. If you have been doing a lot of like passive type stuff where you are, maybe you're doing a lot of manifestation rituals, you've been journaling a lot, you've been meditating, whatever, however you like to manifest or set your goals, reach your goals. Maybe you've been doing a lot of that, but not a lot of concrete action. And if that's the case, this is a message to start taking concrete physical action towards these things that you desire. Because at the end of the day, this reading was about like what wounds are holding you back from moving forward in whatever you want, right? Whatever you desire, wherever you want to go. So these are messages to not let your past hold you back, to balance spirituality and practicality, and then to also step out of your comfort zone that was beneath the South Node. All right, let's get one of these archetype cards for you. Extra messages and guidance for your current situation, this wound that is holding you back, that is hindering you. Wow, look at that. We have bully. With the light attributes, highlights your tendency to intimidate others, helps you comfort the inner fears that bully you. Yes, for some of you, this is definitely like yourself that's doing it. But yeah, then we have the shadow attribute, conceals deep fears behind verbal or physical abuse. For sure. This could be other people bullying you. This could, in the past, or even in the present, this could be yourself bullying yourself. So this is definitely a message to like really be aware of your thoughts. And that doesn't mean control them. You don't want, I feel like it's not necessarily about controlling them, because I feel like if you have been controlling them, that doesn't necessarily mean you are healing them. You're just stopping them from coming to the surface, but they're still there, right? This is remaining aware of them and allowing them to come through and being curious, like, where is this coming from? Why am I saying this to myself when I wouldn't even say this to another person? Why do I think it's okay for me to talk to myself this way when I wouldn't even talk to another person like that, right? So I'm hearing like you are your own worst enemy. So definitely a really big message there of other people in your life perhaps like putting you down, and then yourself as well. And that's one of the things that you are currently healing. Look, underneath that we had Knight. Light attributes are underneath the deck: loyalty, romance, and chivalry, a love of honor. Shadow attributes: allegiance to a destructive ruler or principle, romantic delusions. But yeah, pile two, definitely a message to watch your thoughts, watch your words. And so when you do this, I feel like you need to be able to set time aside where you're going to sit down, make your environment as comforting as possible. If you like lighting candles, put candles. If you want to put like a diffuser, an oil diffuser, a wax melt, low lighting, whatever environment. You want to be in a very comfortable, safe environment when you do this. And then you want to sit down and you just want to let all those thoughts come out without judgment. I feel like you really need to allow these thoughts to come through because you've been kind of holding them underneath the surface, I feel like, for a while. And as you allow them to come through, that's how you're going to release them. That's how you're going to be able to understand them. You want to understand them, not suppress them. But lastly, I am going to get one last card for messages and guidance from Spirit in regards to this wound. And I'm going to read this from the book. I just feel like the book passages are amazing. Okay, we had two here that came out. So we have here Council of Light, Divine Orchestration, Helpers in the Subtle Realm. Underneath that, we had Your Life is a Canvas, Artist, Manifestation, Creative Accountability. For sure, you may be working on something creative that, well, if you are a creative, then definitely this is a message that you're going to be able to channel a lot of like these pains into your project, and that is going to help you succeed as well. So we have, and then we had Keepers of the Earth. You are not alone. Ancient ancestors stand beside you. And I'm going to read that as well and keep that out. Underneath that, we had the Initiation, and then Earthed. Learning how to be human in the world, but not of it. But I'm going to keep these out because they both flipped over on top, and I'll read them from the passage as well. Let me just see. This is a rose card. This is, okay, they're both rose cards. Lots of rose cards coming out today. Okay, so let's see. Council of Light. And right off the bat with the divine orchestration, it kind of reminds me of this transits where it's like things are definitely working in your favor. It's just all about how you currently navigate this time and what you allow into your mind space, your head space. And you're definitely being helped by the universe as well, for sure. So we have the Council of Light is a team of benevolent beings who are here to assist the raising of consciousness of the planet. They are here to help you achieve your soul mission and are guiding you every step of the way. However, because we live in a world where free will reigns, they cannot help you without your permission. If you would like their assistance, it is time to ask them. Definitely, you can ask your spirit guides, the universe spirit, to help you with this. Maybe even help you give the confidence to take some sort of action into the direction that you want to move towards. And then also, because we have that step out of your comfort zone, yeah, and balance spirituality with practicality, it's like maybe you want to ask universe spirit to help give you the confidence, to help you cultivate confidence to step out of your comfort zone, to take action, to put yourself out there. Because perhaps you're like a bit worried about what other people are going to say in regards to certain things, and that would be another fear that's coming up as well. Then we have, they can help with all kinds of requests. Nothing is too big or small. Think of them as your personal team of helpers in the spirit realm. They are willing and ready to step in and get to work. What would you like help with? What tasks would you like to delegate to them? The Council of Light is a team of ascended masters, light beings, angels, and guides devoted to the rising of Earth and all humanity. If you are a light worker, it is from them that you receive your personal mission. Like a spirit world United Nations, they want to thank you so much for doing this work and devoting your life to uplifting the planet. Pray to them for clarity and guidance regarding your personal mission. Interesting. I'm going to read that again. Pray to them for clarity and guidance regarding your personal mission. Put in your requests and let them get to work. And then we have a sort of work your light activation if some of you would like to do that. And then let me read the other one, Keepers of the Earth. You are so supported. You do not stand alone. You have a magnificent team of helpers. Another message of having a magnificent team of helpers, both in this world and of Earth, who are here to help you every step of the way. Call upon them for assistance. They are here to help. Another message of calling upon them for assistance. So if you need help anywhere, pile two, this is definitely a message that you have people supporting you both here on Earth and then in the spiritual realm. So you don't be afraid to ask for help. The Keepers of the Earth acknowledge the work that you have done already and are ready to work through you. They bow at your feet and thank you for wanting to stand for them. to devote your life to protecting the earth in your own unique way. It is time to increase your capacity to receive support in the physical realm. This can come in the form of financial abundance, acts of service from strangers, or people flocking to help you in your work. The only thing that is stopping you right now is your capacity to receive support. You deserve to be rewarded for the work that you are doing. You do not need to go at it alone. Call upon the keepers of the earth to help you in your mission. Open your heart and your mind to receiving more than you ever thought possible. What kind of support do you need? Call it in right away. And then we have another work your light activation here, if you would like to participate in that. And you don't necessarily have to hold the card to your heart. If you don't have the deck, you can just hold your hand to your heart or just read it however you want. You know, it's universe is not really picky in that regard. But thank you so much for watching pile 2, and thank you for allowing me to read for you today. That is all I am seeing for you. Thank you to Spirit for these wonderful, beautiful messages. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Hello, pile 3. If you chose the tortoise, then these are the messages for you. Full transparency, this is the second time I'm filming your video because about halfway through of your original one, it got kind of cut out. So I am just going to redo it, and I'm back, refreshed. I got a fun little drink, so let's go ahead and get started into your reading. And what wound is currently coming to the surface? What wound is holding you back from being able to progress towards your desires? Here we have underneath the deck the King of Cups already here, but let's go ahead and see what this wound is. We have 25, fated to suffer. And then we have the Empress in reverse, the Wheel of Fortune upright, the Eight of Cups upright, and the Ten of Cups in reverse. And pile 3, I want to start off by talking about this Fated to Suffer card. If you look at the imagery, you see two figures. One is offering this woman an apple, and the woman is reaching for it. And this is sort of a inspiration from Snow White and how the witch offered her an apple and she took it, she ate it, but it was actually poisoned and it put her into a magical sleep. And so this is kind of a reference to that. So, and you can see that one half of this apple is actually poisoned and the other half is glistening. And I feel like for this card specifically, it's as though this woman sees the apple as poisoned. She believes it. She believes it so much that she sees that it's poisoned. While this figure may not necessarily be a poisoned apple. It may be a regular apple, a regular gift that this person is offering to her. But because for you specifically, pile 3, I feel like, and it also tying this in with the Knight of Cups and the Eight of Cups, which is this wound, okay? The wound that is being uncovered right now, that is being revealed, is this wound of not feeling safe enough to receive. And you can see that with the Empress in reverse as well. Not feeling safe enough to receive. That is the most general way I guess I can put it, because it can come through in different ways, specifically for each of you. For instance, it could be feeling safe enough to not receive love from another person because you've been burned in the past. I feel like all of you have been burned in the past by something that looked really good. It looked really good and you went for it and you got hurt. And so now anything that looks too good to be true, you walk away from. You turn away because you said, you know, I've fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. That's literally the message I'm getting here, with feeling like anything that is offered to you freely has to be dangerous. It has to be a scam. It has to be too good to be true, because miracles don't happen like that. However, this is coming up because whatever you are heading towards right now, whatever you are trying to bring into your life, whatever you're trying to manifest into your life, it is being stopped because you are having trouble receiving things. If you are hoping for a miracle, how can you possibly hope to receive that miracle, to experience that miracle, if you are suspicious of anything that looks too good to be true? Now, I do want to clarify here that it's understandable that you would be suspicious because any living creature is going to avoid something that hurt them in the past, something that even looks like it could hurt them. Anything's any living creature is that's normal behavior, right? And I feel like you're afraid of recreating some sort of situation that happened in the past that did not feel good. And so anything that seems too good to be true now, anything that happens in your life, you are so alert, so aware of um anything that looks similar to this past situation that hurt you, and you are like snap of the fingers you're ready to walk away from. Because with this Empress in reverse and the Wheel of Fortune, this shows me that maybe even multiple times you have fallen for some sort of scheme, some sort of, I feel like specifically it could be for a lot of you, another person's offer. And you accepting it and then getting hurt in the end. And it's like, you're done. You're sick of it. You're sick of being hurt. And I feel like this has stemmed all the way from childhood or from some sort of motherly figure, some sort of caretaker with this Empress card. Um, Perhaps it was a very toxic situation, abusive situation, maybe even for some of you, like it was something that was just unpleasant that made you fearful of now anything that looks similar to it. Even if it's not necessarily evil at its core, you walk away from it because you're like, I am not going to be trapped again. I am not going to be controlled again. I am not falling for that again. Now, this is coming up as a wound because I feel like now you're on the other end of a spectrum, the other end of the spectrum, that you find anything suspicious. You find everything suspicious, everything a foe. And I feel like it prevents you from really living your life. Because there's nothing wrong with being on alert and trying to suss out certain dangers before they actually make themselves known. I feel like you're really good at that, but I feel like sometimes it can be taken to an extreme where you find everybody to be suspicious. Everybody where you think everybody is out to get you in some way. Trust me, I understand that. Sometimes when I do readings, especially a reading like this where we go deep into certain things and related to the astrology, since I am doing this for this new moon in Aries, I like to do it on myself first. I like to read for myself with the same question, same spread. And I'll say this is the exact card that came out for me in my reading as well. So I understand this energy here. I understand being suspicious of everybody and anyone. I get it. I'm a Scorpio rising. I get it. And however, it can be taken to the extreme where it affects your day-to-day life, where you're constantly in this fight or flight mode. You're constantly on alert. Humans are not meant to constantly be on alert. We need to relax sometimes. We need respite from sometimes. We need a safe space sometimes where we know nothing can harm us. And you can see with this Empress card in reverse, pile 3, you see how there's this red sort of blanket or cloak on her seat? I see this, for some of you, this was like you. You were chilling in your garden. Yeah, people would come and go, but they would respect you. They would respect your time, your environment. They would value you. And then you let the wrong person into your garden. This person had a nice face, had an innocent air about them. They showed you what you wanted. And they went into your garden, and you allowed them into your garden, and then they burned it. And so you picked up your cloak, you learned your lesson. You said, okay, this is a very important lesson. You learned it. You picked up your cloak and you walked away. And you said, I will never let anything like that happen to me again. And I feel like you closed yourself off from the world. You closed yourself off from a lot of things. And this doesn't have to necessarily be a person that could do this. This could have been a job. This could have been a certain situation, a family member. It's like you got, it's like somewhere in the past you were betrayed. And this could have been a past life as well with the Wheel of Fortune. It may be multiple betrayals over multiple lifetimes. And then you finally said enough is enough. And I feel like since then you've maybe have had to be on your own a lot because it's like, I can't trust anybody. I can make my own way in this world without anybody else. And you really value your autonomy and your independence. And but I feel like this is being highlighted because there is a deep-seated deep sense of loneliness here. And like with this 10 of cups and then with the 10 of cups in reverse, this is kind of in the position of how to heal this wound or overcome this wound. And I feel like, and only take this if it resonates, but I feel like a lot of you have turned your back on happiness, on miracles, on good things happening to you. It's like, whenever I open myself up, I get hurt. And so you've made a commitment to never open yourself up to anything again. That the only person you can rely on not to hurt you is yourself. And while this may have worked in the past, I feel like it's harming you more than helping you at this point because I feel like you want to connect with other things outside of yourself. You want to connect with people. You want to share certain things, but there is that fear that is always hanging over you of what if this happens again? And when you do interact with people, it's like if anything is suspicious, if anything feels off and looks similar to these positions in the past, that's it. You're gone. And it's just because you don't want to get hurt again. You don't want to have to be in that position again. And I feel like at this point, you feel like you can't tell friend from foe, so you just block everything else out. You just block everything out. Like with this fated to suffer, she sees the apple as poisoned. Now, is it actually poisoned? Maybe, maybe not, but her perception is that it is. And that's why the side that's facing her is a poison apple. The side that's facing the person is a regular apple. It could be somebody's like handing you something from the goodness of their heart. It's a good thing, but it's like it's too similar. It feels too similar to what happened in the past, this betrayal in the past, that you walk away from it. You don't accept it. And I feel like this stops you from receiving a lot of things that may actually help you. So I feel like spirit's really asking you to not be so quick to judge a good thing when it happens. Because you are going to know truly the feeling of if were something similar to happen in the past, happen now. You have that wisdom now. I'm hearing the song Face to Face by Veela, Veela, in my head right now. So you may want to take a listen and see if any of the lyrics stand out to you there. Um, I'll link it in the description box below if you'd like to take a listen. But yeah, let's get some more messages here. Pile 3. Get some more information on this. I feel like for you specifically as well, it's like, I don't know, this energy is feeling, it's a little hard to discern. And I feel like that's just because you're very closed off right now in order to protect yourself. And of course, we all want to be able to protect ourselves, but sometimes we build walls so high that nothing can get through, not the good or the bad, right? So in order to open ourselves up to the world, in order to open ourselves up to good things like this 10 of cups in reverse, emotional fulfillment, we have to be willing to let the bad things get a chance at us. But I feel like with you've been burned in the past, so you're going to be able to discern what is genuine and what is not. You're not going to be fooled again, even if you do open yourself up. We have here matriarch that came out, mother of homestead, reflection, opportunities, consequences. Interesting. Underneath that, we had Jin, the maid, guardian of the saints, humility, delusionment, champion. And with this matriarch card coming out with the empress in reverse, this definitely could have been something happening in the past, perhaps with a motherly figure or a female caretaker where they just felt overly controlling, perhaps. Kind of like a helicopter parent, very restrictive, very controlling of what you do and don't do. So now you kind of like, you really protect yourself. You really value your autonomy and your independence, and you refuse to put yourself in another situation like that. And that's good. That shows that you learned certain lessons, right? You learned from certain things that happen. However, it does become a problem when you when you create such a hard shell around yourself that not even good things can get through. And with this matriarch card, when we have rejection, opportunities, consequences, it's like you reject everything, even the opportunities, because you don't want to experience anything negative, anything bad, because you are afraid. You maybe even feel like you're fated to suffer that because it's you felt it so much in the past and leading up to this present moment. Or you've seen other women in your life experience that. You've seen other women in your life feel trapped and restricted by certain societal expectations or the people around them. Maybe they've even tried to implement those restrictions on you. And that's why you are so hell bent on maintaining your autonomy and your independence. And, us as a generation, we are like the first generation of women that can actually truly have the freedom to do what we want currently, where you might have to keep fighting for that, unfortunately, because there are people that want to take that away from us. But I'm kind of going on a tangent there. But because I feel like there's like a lot of feminine energy here with matriarch, the empress, it's like and I feel like for you specifically, it may be rejecting certain relationships, especially if you are attracted to men, rejecting certain relationships with men because you want to maintain your autonomy, your independence, but at the same time feeling lonely because of that. Right? You want a partner, a relationship, someone that you can connect with on equal level, but it's like you don't want to have to endure the bad to get to that. And I want to tell you that because perhaps you've experienced it, or you have seen other women around you experience it, other people around you experience certain maybe restrictive, abusive, toxic relationships, you are going to be able to tell. It's almost like you don't trust your ability to see through people. You don't trust your ability to discern who is friend from foe, so you block everybody off. And I feel like what this 10 of cups in reverse is saying is that is because maybe you don't even feel safe with yourself. You don't feel safe in your current environment. And one of the messages here then is to cultivate something like that, some space, some area where you can truly let down your guard. I feel like you're constantly on guard, constantly searching for things that are out to hurt you. And as women, we kind of have to do that, especially when we go out. Like it's our lives depend on it, right? So there's definitely, like, I don't fault you for that. There's nothing wrong with that. However, when we don't have a space at all where we can feel truly safe, that's when it can even start affecting our health, right? Our mental health and our physical health, where we can start to deteriorate. And so I feel like for you, it's very important you find a space or a person, a friend, somewhere where you feel safe, where you can let down your guard, where you can take off this red cloak that is protecting you. Because that's kind of what I'm seeing as it right now. This red cloak is kind of like a cloak of protection, a cloak of invisibility, maybe. Um, and I feel like this is blocking you off from receiving whatever it is that you want, because you instantly turn away from it if it doesn't look exactly how you want, exactly how you imagined. You may even block yourself off from something even better, right? I feel like um so the first step to take in order to be able to feel safe enough to receive again is to cultivate a space where you feel safe enough to receive from yourself first. And I feel like that's why that song was coming to my mind, Face to Face. I feel like coming face to face with a lot of fears right now. Definitely getting Scorpio Pisces energy here. Feeling safe in certain relationships, certain connections. I feel like it's really hard for you to feel safe. And because of that, it's up to you to create that safe space. Create that safe space either within you or without. Um, and specifically, I would recommend working on your root and sacral chakras, because a feeling of instability, of not feeling safe, can come from an imbalanced root chakra. And then I feel like this also has to do with sort of like maybe not feeling safe in your feminine energy, not feeling safe to, yeah, I did say not feeling safe to receive. So definitely important here with this 10 of cups is if you cannot find safety outside of yourself in your life, then connecting within and finding it within, creating a sense of self that is so strong that nobody can dissolve it. And I would specifically say a small area, wherever you are in your house, whatever your living situation is, finding some small area, some small pocket of safety where you're at right now, where you can let down your cloak, where you can sit in this Empress garden that's here. But let me get some more, wow, some more cards at you for you. We have, this came out instantly, relationships, 7th house, 45. Wow, look at that. And then we have 32, Vesta Hearth. So maybe you're not feeling safe. And I feel like I feel like for a lot of you, this is something that was in the past. Maybe you didn't feel safe in your own home. You didn't feel safe in a certain relationship. Maybe it was a marriage. Some of you, this could be permanent. Sorry, not permanent. This could be currently happening. So for those of you where this is currently happening, you currently don't feel safe in your home or your relationship because of some other people or some environment. This is a sign that, and if you've been debating whether you want to walk away or not, this is a sign to cut ties, right? To, if you can't feel safe in your relationship, in your home, then something needs to change. You need to pivot somewhere, right? But I feel like for a lot of you, this is a past thing. With the Wheel of Fortune coming out, and the Empress in reverse, it's like this is something that you experienced in the past, so now you can't experience. Now you've blocked yourself from everything in the present moment. And with Vesta Hearth, Vesta was the Roman, I believe. In Greek, she's called Hestia, but in Rome, she was Vesta. She was the goddess of the hearth, of the fire that was burning in the home, that made a home, right? And I feel like with 7th house relationships and Vesta Hearth coming out, it's like not being able to feel safe in your relationships and in your home, not being able to feel at home in your relationships, not feeling like you can be yourself in your relationships, that you can let your guard down. It might be a relationship with your mom, specifically with matriarch coming out and the Empress in reverse, some sort of motherly figure. It could be a partner. Maybe you saw other people in your life not feeling safe in their relationships, and now you want to shun, like you don't want to experience that as well. Breaking that cycle. But yeah, I feel like right now you're being asked to develop trust and faith in yourself that you are going to be able to leave some sort of toxic situation before it gets too bad. You are not going to have to go through what your, I wanted to say ancestors did, your other members of that you saw growing up of your family. You are not going to have to repeat those. You're walking away from that. However, it's just a message, an important message to not be so entirely closed off that you block in blessings from coming through with this 10 of Cups in reverse. And you even picked the tortoise, right? Tortoise live a really long time. So I feel like you specifically, pile 3, you're breaking some sort of family ancestral cycle here of being trapped and restricted in relationships, not feeling at home in relationships, not feeling safe in relationships, not feeling safe in your home. You are breaking that and doing a wonderful job of it at that. It's just a message of importance to not take it to another extreme where you completely close yourself off from everything, from anything and everything. Close yourself off to certain opportunities that may actually be beneficial for you. That's what I'm trying to get at. It's like your energy is kind of like difficult for me to get through right now. I don't know why. Well, I guess I kind of do know why. I feel like you're quite closed off, very protective person, very protective of yourself, and you value yourself highly, and that's good because you don't lower your standards for other people. However, you just want to make sure your standards aren't too high that you like unrealistic standards, right? You don't want to have unrealistic standards. Not every situation and relationship is going to be 100% complete perfect either. Sometimes you have to work at things to get them to where you want to be. The answers you need are coming. Full moon in Gemini. So maybe some of you have been asking for guidance, asking for some sort of advice, and this is a message that the answers you need are coming. They're on the way. That's what this new moon is fulfilling for you. And then also this new moon may be happening in your 7th house. And so this new moon's happening in Aries, so you may have Aries in the 7th house. And then we have here with full moon on the bottom of the deck, look at the bigger picture, full moon in Sagittarius. Yeah, and I feel like this is kind of gaining a higher perspective, a more expanded perspective, that not everything is out to get you, not everything is out to hurt you. That's why it's important to look at the bigger picture, as well as looking at the bigger picture of where this wound comes from. Who in your family growing up did you see was in a very painful, trapped, restricted situation? Even if it was yourself, it could have been yourself as well. And where did you learn that it's better to be completely closed off and not allow anything in than to allow certain bad things in? Because I feel like right now you're rejecting the good and the bad because you don't want to feel that bad. But that's not really living life, is it? I don't think that's really fulfilling, and that's why it's coming through, because it's stopping you from receiving certain things that you want. Let's get another card here. Whoa, look at that, Liberator. Light attributes, freeing yourself and others from outmodeled beliefs, releasing negative thought patterns. Shadow attributes, imposing your own tyranny over those you claim to liberate, ignoring legitimate constraints. Yes. The reason why I did this reading in the first place is because this new moon is happening right one degree away of Chiron, the asteroid or the planetary body known as the wounded healer, because he was wounded, and even though he never really got to heal himself, he opened up a sort of refuge for other people, like a healing temple almost. And I feel like for you, you are healing certain wounds when it comes to femininity, when it comes to being a woman in this world. It's also why we have matriarch out here. It's like It's like here you see freeing yourself and others from outmodeled beliefs. And it may have been beliefs that were instilled into you as a child. Maybe some sort of, maybe other people in your family were like, well, this is just how it's always been. And you're like, no, no, that is not what's going to be happening for me. And so I feel like this reading is saying like you are on the right path, liberating yourself from this, from people trying to hurt you, trying to restrict you, trying to control you. You are on the right path. It's just a matter of not having too much tunnel vision and rejecting the opportunities that are coming your way as well, because you are suspicious that they are going to take away your autonomy somehow, when that you would never allow that to happen. I feel like you are wise enough, you are smart enough to be able to avoid those things while also accepting the divine opportunities that are coming your way. And I feel like we have here ignoring legitimate constraints. And I feel like, sure, maybe some of you are doing that, but I feel like for the most part, it's more so ignoring, with the way this reading has been going, ignoring the good stuff as well, with this 10 of Cups in reverse, ignoring the things that you feel are too good to be true, when they really are like divine gifts, essentially. But you're definitely breaking a lot of cycles here, pile 3. I was definitely feeling that, and this Liberator card really confirms it. And look, on the bottom of the deck, we had Judge, with balancing justice and compassion and managing the fair distribution of power. And then Shadow Attribute, offering only destructive criticism, misusing business, legal, or criminal authority. But I feel like for the Judge, it's more so balancing when you are receiving and when you are giving, I guess, but more so like balancing this protective energy of yourself, balancing when you reject certain things with acceptance, right? You don't always want to be rejecting things, because then you'll reject the things that actually are helpful to you, are good for you. But lastly, pile 3, I'm going to be getting a card from here, and I will read the passage from the guidebook just because I feel like the messages are always really good. They always hit. And let's see what came out for you. We have activated Earth, power places, ley lines, trust where you're led. And I feel like that maybe relates to this 8 of Cups, where it's like perhaps you don't really trust where you're being led right now. And then we have no, wait, postpone, pause, say no. I feel like you're saying no to a lot of things, but once again, it's like this message of be careful not to say no to the things you want as well. Look, and underneath the deck, we had Warrior Woman. Have you answered your deepest calling? And I'm going to keep that out. Let's see. This is okay, that's the Starseed card, and this is a Rose card. So let's read this activated Earth. Definitely get warrior energy from you, pile 3. Okay, so we have here. Ley lines are invisible pathways on the land along which energy travels. They can be sensed when we tune into them with our subtle senses. Also known as spirit paths, they've been compared to the meridian system of the body used in Chinese medicine, and they link sacred sites, stone circles, burial mounds, and places of worship worldwide. In Australian Aboriginal culture, songlines were the paths traveled by the creator beings as they made the land and sea during the dreaming. These paths were recorded in the traditional songs and dances of the people, allowing them to access information about the land's history and to travel safely across great distances. Many believe that as we visit such sacred points on earth, something is activated within us. Some also believe that by connecting with the land with devotion at these sacred places, something is activated within the planet too. Are you being called to travel to a sacred place that your soul remembers, or to tend the land you live on, to honor and acknowledge the known and unknown keepers or nature spirits of the land? As you connect with the earth and honor its keepers, the land opens up more fully to hold you. The fruits provide more nourishment, and the guardians watch over you. And we have this activation here if you would like to follow through with it. I will leave it here for a second. Yeah, but what I'm getting with this card is maybe there's somewhere you want to travel. You've been calling to travel, but you may be a bit afraid that it's not going to work out. This is a message that anywhere you're feeling called to travel, even if it's mentally, even if it's spiritually, that it is safe now to do so. And you may find a home there with Vesta. You may find a safe space there. Maybe you're traveling, maybe you are in a relationship and you are traveling, you're wondering whether you should travel to see this person or you should move in with them, you should commit to them more, just because you're afraid of being trapped in that sense. And this is a message that the answers you need are coming. You just need to listen. The universe is definitely going to be giving you an answer here soon on where to go, what you should do, but it's about being open to them. It's about being open to it, no matter what that answer is. But let me read Warrior Woman here. Wait, it's in the other book. Wow, look at the first thing it says. You are here for a reason. You are being called to bravely pave a path. And if you have any younger siblings or just people that are looking up to you, people that are coming after you, you're paving a path for people with this liberator as well. Right now, by healing this wound, you are paving a path for people that are going to be coming after you. And I feel like it's in the sense of home and relationships. And so it says, have you answered your highest and deepest calling? And it kind of sounds like this activated earth of where you want to go. Living a heart and soul led life is not all fluffy and smooth sailing. Living a heart and soul led life requires courage to triumph over fear. So often, our fears are the gatekeepers to our greatest gifts, and the more resistance we have toward answering a call, the more important it is to our soul's growth. Sometimes fear is an indication that we are facing the right way. Joan of Arc was known for her courage and her famous line, "I am not afraid, I was born to do this." But the thing about courage is that it is not possible without fear. So if you are feeling afraid, what is needed is courage. And courage comes from living from the heart. Think of your fears as opportunities to expand rather than things that are holding you hostage. That reminds me of the card that was at the bottom of this deck of look at the bigger picture. And it's Sagittarius, right? And Sagittarius can be known to be travelers in that sense, to expand. And this says, if you look at your fears in this light, then as uncomfortable as it might feel, it's actually a sign that you are on the right track. So definitely a message to look at your fears. Where are you afraid? What are you afraid of? Find the root cause of that. And that is going to help. Finding the root cause of that and identifying those fears is going to help you move past them, because according to this one, you should be moving towards your fears, because often fear can come as resistance towards the path that we are meant to go on. Sometimes the thing you're most afraid of is the thing you should be moving towards, the thing that is going to liberate you the most. And you're going to be seeing more messages to confirm these over the coming days, weeks. Any answer, any question you've been asking, the answers are definitely coming here, pile 3. I feel like out of all 3 piles, yours was probably the most difficult to do. I feel like there were a lot of different messages. Your energy is kind of hard to read, and I feel like that's you might have a lot of Scorpio in your chart, or you have a lot of people protecting you, a lot of beings protecting you right now, pile 3. So definitely they're here supporting you, helping you face certain fears that you have in regards to being hurt, in regards to other people and relationships. So definitely going to be getting a lot of signs from the universe here about that. But I feel like you're definitely moving towards the right path with this liberator as well. You're liberating yourself from a lot of things, and not only yourself, but your entire ancestral line, right? But that is all I'm seeing for you, pile 3. Thank you so much for letting me read for you today. Thank you to Spirit for these messages. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one.